bit of rains attempting to rain here in Arua City. I don't know how it is in the other parts of the world, but I must say from where we are coming from, that is in plot 19, Weatherhead Park Lane, that is in Arua City, where our headquarters are in the premises of within Anyafio. I must say the weather is so chilly. This could also be a risk threat to those who are still doing their brickworks. And I must say yesterday we did witness a bit of rains for about 30 minutes, but really that caused havoc and paralyzed a business in Arua City, where people who are doing businesses got actual losses because some people could not move. This is where people do not also really sometimes want to witness rains. And I must say it means that the rains are back, because really with climate change where you do not expect rains, I must say that is something that is for those who did not really know that it could start raining within this period. Now it is often that now that rains are back, that means that we need to start preparing ourselves and also get ready for the other things. And that is one thing that really I must say we need not to really also be worried of. Really, we need to just be prepared and maybe utilize the return of the rains for other productive activities, because really yesterday during one of the meetings that was within Arua City for the midterm assessment review, I must say this issue actually came out clearly, because that young people should not really be staying idle, because there is a lot of opportunities that they could actually get engaged in agriculture, because the market within the agricultural sector is very much ready and really untapped. And that is something that really also we did talk about yesterday in this meeting. And also one thing that was not excluded in this meeting was the fact about tourism. Now, if you look at Western Sub-Region, I must say there is enormous tourism opportunity that is not being tapped into, that really remains untapped, really, in terms of the other sectors that I must say which remain untapped. That is one thing also we need to ensure that we talk about, because really if you look at Western Sub-Region, definitely you will get to realize that a lot of tourism potential opportunities keep lying idle and really without being properly utilized. And that is something I must say really maybe as part of this sub-region properly utilized, we will be able to really also earn ourselves monies when it comes to that sector there, because often really something is not being done. And that is one thing also I must say we need to really start tapping into, because really if we continue to really leave the sub-region as it is, then the monies that we would want to really also see ourselves earning from the tourism sector may not be able to be yielded. And that is something that we could also really continue to suffer from, because really if that is not the case, then definitely we are going to continue lagging behind as Western Sub-Region. That is in terms of the tourism sector, despite the enormous tourism potentials that we have in this sub-region. Really, if you look at some of the tourism, somebody may be asking him or herself that, I'm talking about the enormous tourism potentials that we have in this sub-region. Which one is there exactly? I must say there is a lot in Western Sub-Region that remains untapped, and this could be just like Western Uganda, which has become a tourism region, and I believe Western Sub-Region also has the potential. Look at the Butea port. This would be one tourism potential that people would move from this region to that area, then come to Mountain Wati. If it was really well mapped, people would be moving to this area, and really they would also really see this place, and also money will be generated. That is in terms of really also foreign exchange, because tourists would come from wherever they are coming from to this sub-region to also really have an experience of how West Nile looks like. And really I think now there's need for us to do a lot, but really before we get to also talk much about this discussion, let's first get to listen to what the tourism experts are saying. And I do have Lilian Ayot. She is a tourism ambassador together with the tourism officer for city to also really, that is Mr. Watum, to really give us maybe an experience of what is lacking when it comes to tourism in West Nile sub-region, because really we continue to talk about the enormous tourism potential opportunities. Really there's quite a lot that we do not know. Maybe if the tourism experts can also really share the experience on that, maybe of what they think West Nile can do to really also yield and earn from that. And really with that, let's first get to listen to what the tourism experts are saying. I do have the tourism officer together with the tourism ambassador. Really, we bounce back shortly. Let's first get to listen to what they're saying about tourism in West Nile sub-region as a whole. Yes, if the producer can really quickly put for us that video, that will be quite good. If you can really have that video, definitely somebody may be able to know of what we're talking about, because really tourism in this sub-region is still something that is lagging behind, despite the potential tourism opportunities that we have in this sub-region. Remember, we do have so many potential tourism sites. We have a Jai Game Reserve, we have River Nile, that is in that's parts of Mariokolo district crossing up to, that is Elegu. We have also parts of tourism potential sites, that is in Madisa region, that is between Obongi and also Ajumani. These are all potential tourism sites. The ferry itself could be a potential tourism site, because somebody who is born within Arua city and has never tested ferry, because me, at least, I had the chance of testing it once. That was in Masini, and that is how I got to also really use the ferry to cross over, that is Lake Albert. So I think for me, if I had the chance, and for that one person who does not have this chance, maybe they will be able to sort of also maybe move to the other parts of the region to really also see what they want to test, because it will not force somebody who would want to really go to Western Uganda because they feel like testing ferry to go that side, because we have the ferry here. And I think really now, if the producer can really also share that with that video, it will be quite good for us to also understand why our tourism sector is still lagging behind. And you as the viewer, you have what it takes on how best we can tap into this opportunity. What do you think can our leaders do to really make our tourism sector that vibrant as West Nile sub-region? For now, let's first get to listen to what the tourism experts are saying.
My name is Fred Watum. I'm the Senior Tourism Officer, Arua City Council. Yes, first of all, I want to first start by telling everyone that West Nile is blessed. We have a lot of tourism potentials, from the natural attractions, from culture, from our way of life, food. Let me start with Arua City, for example. In Arua here, when you mention the name Arua itself is a tourism attraction. There is Arua Hill, where all our history and the name Arua comes from. Those are some of the tourism talks that it will be promoted. We have amidst us here in Arua, Kokoliriko waterfalls, which is already being developed by the private sector. Away from Arua, when you start right from Pakwach, there are a number of tourism attractions. Wanglei, we have a Min Pasha in Wadlai. When you move to Nebi, we have the smallest church. We have Nduru Rock, Got Nebi. When you move to Maracha, you have Miradua waterfalls. When you move to Koboko, we have the Mountain Lido, Mountain Cave, we have Audi Caves. And then when you move to Terego, we have the famous Mount Wati, where the history of the Lugwara people starts from, where the Lugwaras believed the ancestors lived. You move to the Madi sub-region, there are enormous attractions here, right from Obongi to Moyo district, to Ajumani, there is Zoka Forest, there is Mountain Ose, and so
come to admire the beauty of West Nile at large. And then I'd like to put it that tourism is not a one person's responsibility. We have a lot encompassed in that. The Lubarakari is here. We have culture under tourism. We have our food, we have our tradition, our songs and everything. But the challenge with the tourism sector here in West Nile at large is marketing. Most of our tourism sites are not developed. So the problem we face as tourism ambassadors or the tourism officers in West Nile is how to promote, how to package, how to sell these sites to attract people to come and visit these sites. Because if they are not attractive, what are people coming to see?
That is it from the tourism experts, and that is how far we are heading with the tourism sites and mapping of them, and really how much also we are earning from the tourism sector and what exactly needs to be done so that West Nile can become a vibrant tourism destination. And that is how they have also said and clearly stated it there. And for those who really do not know that West Nile has the potential, I must say yes, our West Nile sub-region has the potential tourism opportunities that we are not tapping into yet, and really that is something that could be making us lag behind in terms of development, because the tourism sector, which is said to be the second, that is after agriculture, as really something that is earning money for the government. And really, if we are to be able to really also tap into that, remember so many many, some of these regions are earning a lot from tourism sector. For instance, the eastern part of this country and also the western. Really, if you look at what is happening in Jinja, sometimes these will come with several campaigns. Vumbula, Uganda, you have so many explore. These are all strategies which to me are doing very, very much when it comes to attracting tourists, and that is something which is not happening in the Western sub-region. And I believe if our port is also supposed to come up with such initiatives, and then definitely we would be also see West Nile transforming and becoming that tourism destination that we want it to be. Because really, if people are to come to Western sub-region, this comes with opportunities. Because first of all, the hotels, we are going to earn money because these people have to sleep there. And then the youths, we are going to be employed as drivers, as tour guides, and all these are going to earn money for themselves. And then thirdly, government is going to earn money because these facilities, we are going to charge some small money, and of which this money is also part of it goes to government. And really, this is something I must say now we need to ensure that we have to strategize. And this goes to the leaders of this sub-region. Really, they have to unite. That is in terms of the religious leaders, the political leaders, and the technocrats have to work together, because really tourism is something that we have to work together in terms of, if you want to develop it, because really you alone as a tourism officer, you as alone as a member of parliament, you as a technical officer alone, you are not going to do that work of developing the tourism sector alone. And as the public also, we need to be proud of what we have. For those who go to Miradua, let's make Miradua very colorful. For those who move to Oluko Falls, let us make Oluko Falls look treasurable. So I think so that people who are outside, who are watching us also, maybe who are seeing how this facility looks like, they will be able to also get motivated to come to these facilities rather than go there and take funny pictures, also talk funny things about the facility. So I think that would not make sense. What we rather have to do is for us to make our tourism sector that vibrant. We need to ensure that once we go out of the region, let's make our people, other people outside understand that West Nile is actually a beautiful place. And yes, indeed, it is, because really, if you have to look at Arua Hill, all these are potential tourism sites, and of which they all remain untapped, because really people on dailies, so many people climb that hill there, and really they are not earning, they're not paying something small for the city council. So I think if the city council was able to really also come with strategies of also developing this facility, maybe put up some recreational facilities up there, then definitely we'll be able to see this facility growing. So that is one thing I must also talk about, the tourism in this sub-region, and of which it also needs support. I don't know how best you feel as the viewer. We need to support the tourism sector of this region. You can really also feel free to share your comment. That is on the comment section. For those of you watching us online, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on X, you can also really drop your comments there, and we shall be able to read them loudly and clearly. That is the beauty of the Kokoliriko live show and West Nile TV at large, because you can watch us from any part of the world. You need not to be worried of anything that you are going to be missing West Nile sub-region. We are live on satellite. We also there on various media platforms. So I think that is something that we need to take advantage of, such that we do not really miss of what is happening from the region. And that is why we always start the discussions right from home, because usually they say east, west, home is the best. And that is one thing that we are supposed to do, because our number one mandate as West Nile Television remains to enlighten the region. And for us to enlighten the region, we definitely need your support, because we cannot do that alone. And now, leaving that discussion to tourism aside, that is something that really has been going over time. As some section of the leaders of West Nile, that is Aivu division, have often demanded for an exit of Aivu division out of Arua city to form their district, also return back under Arua district. I don't know why, because this was saying maybe they were not consulted, and that is something that has been going on over and over again, and this continues to go on, because really they continue with their demands. It seems these are not giving up, and really we did witness some of the in a recent meeting. We did see the city mayor also bring this issue before the minister of, that is lands, Honorable Biga Mario Kania, and where he said that there are some who are saying they are going to meet the president, and very soon the president is coming to assent to their demand of wanting their own district, that is of Aivu or else Arua district. But really, these people who are said to be, according to what the leaders are saying, these are people who are just sectarian a bit. They are people who are non-developmental. For them, they just want to really also become opportunists. They are for them the opportunists. So that is what the city mayor also did say yesterday, and he actually came out clearly to respond to these queries of these people who are saying they want a district of Aivu. But over time, we have known him as he has ever stood to his words. that those who are really also demanding for Ivory District, these are people who are daydreaming. That is something I've quoted from him. They are daydreamers, and their dreams of wanting to have Ivory District will never work. But rather, yesterday he also really made a humble appeal to them. Instead of these people complaining that they were not consulted and the Ivory's size is very big to fit under City, let them instead demand for divisions, and really maybe Ivory East Division or maybe Ivory West, because this is the way to go, rather than them continuing to demand for exit of Ivory, because Ivory is now part of Arua City. Their dreams will never come, that dream of having Ivory District will never come true, it will never happen, and it will never take place so long as he is still the city mayor. And that is one thing I must say I love about Wadrisam Nyakwa, because he's somebody who is honest, and really he's somebody who stands to his words. And really, we have often known him, because this issue has been there ever since Arua City was granted. The city setters have always known these people of Save Ivory Initiative, these elders who are really also demanding, they continue to demand about their district. But I think very soon I will be able to bring them on the studios here to really come and explain to us why they need to have Ivory as a district. What reasons do they have? Definitely, I will be able to certainly bring them in the studio here to also come and elaborately tell us. Maybe we're not understanding their reasons. This is, I think, time for us also really also get to interact with them, as we hope to have them very soon to also tell us more about the Save Ivory Initiative and why they must continue demanding for Ivory as a district. And that is something which we may not see happening, because really they continue to demand. They are saying they were not consulted as stakeholders of Ivory during the formation of the district. And really, if we can be able to also really get what Wadrisam Nyakwa is saying, that is in relation to those demanding for Ivory as a district, and then that is something that he says will never happen. But for now, let's really have that is Wadrisam Nyakwa on what he is saying, that is to those people who are demanding for Ivory district. And really, I must say, he has no kind words for them, but rather he encouraged them to maybe also promote the disintegration of Ivory into smaller divisions, that is to improve service delivery. But really, let's first listen to him on what he's saying. Thank you.
And people who are misleading our people can never stand on the floor of parliament and articulate issues of growth. Never, not once. Now some of them these days have big funerals. Things which are supposed to be talked in the parliament are now talked at the funeral. That's here. So very soon we are starting our operations. We are meeting with those people in the field. RSCC, you be ready. Because this place will go into flames. Because each one of us has a following. For me to become a mayor, I had people, structures up to village level. If I make an alarm and say, you structure come, and we defeated here, they will come. It's misleading. At least I know the district is not there, it will not come. Rather, individuals should prepare motions, should prepare documents to create more divisions, city divisions. You create as many as possible. So if they pick one, based on the availability of funds, no problem. If they can pick two, the better, so that these services are cascaded down to the people. That is supposed to be the thing. Now this same group, the other day, when the people of us are basically resolved that the intended ecotourism, which is supposed to be done here in Barifa, is not in line with the ecotourism guidelines. This same group which says for them they want the district, they don't want the city, are now there. They are slashing, they are clearing, and security is looking at them. LCC. Security is looking at them.
Your people, I think, will resolve and they should stop. And if they are continuing, then that's another thing.
Okay.
Take action.
So, sometimes we think Sometimes we think the security collaborates with these fellows. That's how sometimes we are there, I think. So when
All right, that is Honorable Wadlisam Nyakwa, the mayor. He is actually, his worship, that is Arua City. He is the mayor who really stands to his words. And he continues to say that those who are demanding, that is for Aivu district, are yet wasting their time. And really, but do you think the demand for Aivu district is realistic? That is in your own opinion, you as the viewer? And then really you can also really tell us more about what you think that is in relation to, that is the formation of Aivu district, that is small disintegration of Aivu to form, that is maybe Aivu district out of Arua city. And really, before we did have that discussion of that is a demand for to have Aivu exit out of Arua city, we did talk about tourism, and Hamim Teller says, good morning West Nile, and electricity, not forgetting infrastructural development is the way to go when it comes to that is development of tourism in this sector. And I want to agree with him, and really I want to say that is the truth, because if we not really develop the two concurrently move together, because if people want to come this sub-region, they want to ask themselves, how bad is the road? Really look at the road that connects to Ajai. You will be able to really realize that if these roads are put and maintained that way, definitely we may able to see tourists coming this side, or they may not come, because really if we not develop the roads, because then this is going to lengthen, that is the journeys for those who want to cross over, that's from Pakwach to really come to Ajai Game Reserve. That road, if it is well established, definitely we are seeing an improvement in terms of tourism sector. And that is something I must say also. I want to agree with him, and really also say this to government. If we want to realize the tourism sector of this region growing, definitely we have to ensure that we talk about that. And then that is something also really we did discuss earlier on. But now really the Aivu elders under Save Aivu initiative, really you are doing something that that the worship is not agreeing with you, and that is together with the city leadership, what they're saying is not really right. Because really, instead of you demanding for exit of Aivu district, that is Aivu division as a district, why don't you then demand for better service delivery? Because really it looks at this as opportunists, people really who did not make it, that is in terms of politics, and really they have to use other means now to ensure that they survive. That is really, it's not my own words, you had from your own way, that is as far as he actually talked about it. Definitely that is something we have to really also stop with that discussion there. As we continue with the discussions, we still have lots more really also that we are discussing on the show this morning, and really that is something that we cannot leave out. And moving on, Uganda Liberal Teachers Union embarks on poverty eradication among the teachers. That is something that really is quite good there, because if teachers are not empowered financially, definitely that also really affects their output when it comes to impacting on the learners, because they will not want to teach the way that we expect them to do so. Because if that is not the case, then we are going to be seeing absenteeism being very much rampant, because the teachers have to come out on the streets and do other jobs such that they can put food on their tables, because really what comes from the schools may not be able to come enough, or it may not be even timely. So that is one reason why we are seeing teachers today really very much enrolled into the border industry. We are seeing them also leaving. We have seen teachers who are abandoning the teaching career for other jobs, because they feel maybe the teaching career is not bringing them very much, so they have to look for other means or other alternatives to survive. For instance, the border industry that has been able to employ a number of them, really I must say, this initiative, this move by the Uganda Liberal Teachers Union is quite good, and really we also hope other teachers under their unions can also really embark. If you're not really supposed to do this, then definitely the empowerment of teachers may be the best way of really empowering them, rather than us continuing to complain of the low salaries. Because I know salary may not be enough for somebody out there really, but how do we empower them? How do you make them realize that what they're having could actually change their lives. And now Uganda Liberal Teachers is embarking on its journey of fighting poverty eradication. And even the President Museveni really also did talk about this. And really that is the president of this teachers union deliberately left out government economic empowerment programs like Mioga and PUWEP. This means that they have only one chance of missing, that is on financial eradication. So I think this is something that we also really have to continue talking about, because if they are not really empowered, and then definitely we are going to be leaving these people behind. And Uganda Liberal Teachers Union believes that this money will help them realize their enhancement of the teachers' salaries, because really the salary needs something that really would also support it. Because if you're giving somebody, for instance, let me take, you're paying somebody 700,000, the person has over 10 dependents, because somebody may have about 5 children of his own, and then we have the relatives who come and live with these teachers here. So all of them need survival, and definitely this money is not going to be enough. And that is why we see most of the teachers are resorting to part-timing in other schools, and their times of living within the schools is not enough, and that is how they have to survive in terms of also going to really look out for survival in the other areas. So I think there's need really for us to also really support, that is the teachers, and once we do that, definitely we may at the end of the day also realize that the empowerment of teachers is a reality, because if we do not really also talk about it, definitely we are going to be seeing our teachers lagging behind. So I think this is quite good, and we need to also support it, and that is how we also really summarize the discussions in the first quarter as we head into the first commercial break of the show. And this is still the Morning Cook Show. That is where we give you insights into some of the topics that are making news in the world of current affairs, and that is how you need to also really be updated of what is happening in the corridors of news. We do not really also leave you out, and that is how each and every morning we come here, that is from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. to let you know of what is happening in the world of Kokoliriko, also in the world of current affairs, and that is what the show is all about. And really for now, let's first run in for a short commercial break, and when we return back, we still have lots more to give you. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on StarTimes. StarTimes brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. This is still the Kokoliriko live show on West Nile TV. From wherever you're watching us from, it's a great pleasure having you on board this beautiful morning of Tuesday, and that is what we really do best when it comes to, that is the whole of the week, that is from Mondays to Fridays. What we do is give you what is happening in the world of news. Also, when we talk about issues of current affairs, and that is why you need not to miss this show each and every mornings. That is from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And now there's something that has been going on that is within the Central Division. Really, if you know, and if you live in this area, you will be able to understand what I'm talking about. This area is also one that has been hit by insecurity. And yesterday we did have the leadership of security also talking about this. And now the political leaders have responded to this, because really there has been a fight that is between the two criminal gang leaders, one identified as Chika and the other one also identified as Tororo, which has been going on. And this fight has now involved groups, and this is between the gangs, also these thieves, where this issue is becoming an area of an issue of concern, and now security and political leaders have also responded to this. And remember, yesterday we also did talk about this, and really this is something I must say it is said to have started from South Sudan, where these gang groups, that is one led by Chika and the other one also led by Tororo, actually is going on. And this is where we have seen also property being destroyed, and where these boys are renting. Really, if they realize that they are renting in your home, trust me, your building will be destroyed. And that is how deadly this thing has been there. Now we are seeing threats of lives being lost, where we have also seen these boys killing at least 2 lives. That is what we have heard, that is in rumors. And now one of these gang groups also has escaped, because it is said that these boys from, that is Arua, led by, that is Tororo, went and really also called for those colleagues in South Sudan. And really these are also the gangs, these criminal gangs, to really want to kill the other group, and that is Chika. And really they actually did punish him very badly, where it reached an extent of losing, that is two of his tooth. And really he didn't die until he was saved by, that is the Good Samaritans in South Sudan. And when he came to Uganda, still that group also was able to pass that information that he has reached Uganda. Let the ones in Uganda now finish him, because he has also been that very, very bad. He has been grabbing what these boys also really have been obtaining from streets. So I think that is something that has been there, and really this has now been the talk among the people within the Central Division, that is within Arua City. And this issue is becoming an area of concern, and each and every night we are listening to gunshots, that is from the police and other security agencies, to see that they really also bring this issue to normality. And yesterday we did see the leaders also talking something about this. If we can be able to get what the leaders of Arua City are saying about this issue, because it is becoming an area of issue of concern, where we are fearing that more lives could be lost, because this has now become an issue, a fight of groups now. And really also, if UPDF can ably intervene on this, and then definitely we may see this actually not continuing to go on, because this is something that is said to have begun from South Sudan and has come to Uganda. Really, what is going to happen? We do not want to really see more bloodshed or more lives lost. Let's first get to listen to what the leaders of Arua City are saying in relation to this issue of the fights among the criminal gangs.
About the issue of the security in town, situation is generally calm, but recently there was a rampant chaos in town caused by thugs and thieves. And this one mainly happens because the thugs themselves had their groups. There are more than 2, 3, 4 different groups with their leadership. One of the leadership, according to what I heard, is called Mr. Chika, who is one of the leading thugs in this town. And we are also reliably informed that another group is led by a guy called Tororo. These people, I have never seen them in my eyes, but their names are all over. This guy called Chika went to Sudan. According to the information we got, the thugs in Sudan beat him. Why he was beaten is because he has been extorting money from the fellow thugs. You steal, you must give him money. If you don't give, he can damage you. So, because of that, people said, no, this one should not proceed. They started stopping the process by force. They arrested him, they started beating him, then he had to run back to Uganda. But those guys informed their colleagues who are here that he has run that side. If you don't beat him, then you should not come to Sudan. You know?
I think there is a bit of partnership in what they do, according to our findings. Now, when they reached here, they also attacked him, they beat him. He lost at least 3 of his teeth. So after that, he also reorganized himself. They went and revenge against the other team. Now, these teams are very huge in number. You realize one group has over 200 to 300 members.
There is of insecurity now in the central business district. The city has become very ungovernable. And the police is not helping us when it comes to that. I see a good collaboration, especially between the flying squad group of police and those thieves. As you are the chair of security. Please change tactics. We have more trust in the UPDF than the police. We have more trust in the UPDF than the police. I hear the criminal gangs now are in groups, they are fighting each other openly. And we are seeing not taking much action. People now move in fear. People's phones are grabbed. People's bags are grabbed. People are followed up their residences. Here. Are we going back to those days of your West Nile Bank front? Are we going back to those days of UNLF?
Chikara is crossing the border to Kenya, and he was tipped by one of the people in the police. So whatever is happening now, you are very right. The flying squad, they collaborate. Actually, they are the ones who picked one of these boys, the team leaders, the ring leaders. There is called Ali and there is Chika. So all these two have followers. Now, the teams that come from Juba, Kakimo Road, when they come here, they are those ones who join Team Chika, those ones who join Team Ali. Now, these two are fighting over resources. That means they are designated central division of operations. You operate the other side, this one you operate the other side. So this one, when they come and rob from this side, they are carrying them. And this is happening in the north, the security. So you people who sit there, the people who are making this city ungovernable are the members of the district city security committee. So as I talk right now, Chika is crossing from Uganda going to Kenya. But you run because they want to apprehend him. And I know the officer, the relative who worked told him, I will not mention names, but I will be provoked, I will mention.
Provoked and mention names, because at the end of the day we want to understand who exactly is behind all this mess that is going on. Because really, if we continue to look at criminal activities going on and this is happening, broad day robbery, for instance, when we talk about the broad day robbery that these people are fighting over, they are fighting over wealth. You really realize that most of these young boys are agents, or it could be because of these leaders that we're talking about. And really, if we now have strategies maybe of bringing these two to book, definitely I believe this will be able to also really yield fruits, because these are, at the end of the day, are terrorizing innocent people. Look at the women who are vulnerable to these thieves. At the end of the day, these ones on motorcycle, which I believe really working for these two leaders could be the problem, because at the end of the day, after snatching these handbags, after snatching these phones, they take them to leaders whom I want to believe are not, should not be these two, because really, really this issue has been an area of concern. We see criminality on the rise, and really we continue to keep quiet. So I think there's more that community can do when it comes to this issue about these gangs that we're talking about. And really that is as far as that issue of the criminal gang that is going on, the fight that is currently going on, where we are said to have really lost at least 2 lives because these 2 actually killed the other group. So I think it is now becoming an issue, a fight of groups, where this one also connives with the groups and really mobilize and move with pangas. And I must say, these people move with pangas, they move with bars, they move with really a lot of bad weapons, which really police also needs to really also work together. And now this is something that really, if it is not addressed timely, we may able to also really lose lives there. And now we really to check on some of your comments here. We do have, that is Kama Damatov watching us all the way from Bulisa, and he says, the topic we are discussing is very much right, because really if the issues continue to happen like that, and then we continue to look on, and then definitely we are not doing much when it comes to helping our society, and we are not really empowering the society in the way that we want to transform it. And then I also do have Obedigu James, and he's watching us all the way from Doha, that is in Qatar, and he says, thanks for the topic, no need to create another district, let's develop Arua instead of creating another district. And that is what he really thinks. And he says the roads are really bad in West Nile, registration mostly in Zombo and other places. And really, if we are to really witness tourism development in this area, so he feels that we need to really also develop the road sector. First of all, look at the roads really from Arua along Kampala Lane. You realize that this road is in dire status. So many of the traders are losing a lot when it comes to their goods and their merchandise being transported from Kampala. And then the journey, actually, which is supposed to be 8 hours, as we were about 10 years ago, we used to say the journey from Kampala to Arua is just 7 to 8 hours. But now, trust me, people are traveling for more than 10 hours because of the roads. And if the road is not developed, then definitely we may be singing a song that may not be able to be danced to. So I think for us to also really ensure that we dance the song that we are singing, let government also first of all come clearly to develop, that is the road sector. Because if the road sector is not developed, then definitely what we are saying here may just be a waste of time. Because really, if that is not done so, we are going to be witnessing our roads still continuing to remain in their status, and the tourism sector, which could actually generate a lot of money for this government, will continue to lag behind, and something that I must say will not be quite good for us to really also continue watching there. Because really, if we continue to really talk about this, then definitely that is something that we are really not going to be able to see that it will happen. And then moving on away from that, really there was excitement. This is with the installation of one of the chiefs. And where did this happen over the weekend? That is something also you need to know, because really, if that is not done so, we are also not really also doing much when it comes to West Nile, because we really have to be proud as people of this sub-region, because we are West Nilers. We can never change that identity of who we are. And that is something we can never run away from as people of West Nile sub-region, as people who love the region. And now the Lendu Paramount Chief installed after the demise of his father, Mahasi Nanji. And really, I must say, there was excitement where the people came together to also really ensure that they witness the installation of the new Paramount Chief. And that is something that also really did transpire over the weekend. And that is something we cannot also really exclude out, because these chiefs have a great role to play. That is also in the governance of the society, because at times people want to listen to these chiefs more than their political leaders. Even they listen to them more than the religious leaders, because each and everybody, just like the mayor said earlier on, those who may be claiming that they have their followers, we also have our followers. And I believe just like the political or other leaders or the religious leaders, these paramount chiefs also have their own following. So I think that is something that we also really have to talk about, because we have to involve them in the development of society. Because really, if you talk about the bad things that are happening within the society, and then we involve these paramount chiefs to also continue sensitizing that message, and then definitely we may realize of the advantage of what we're talking about. For instance, let's take what is happening right now, the government programs of, that is poverty eradication. For instance, the PDM. Me, in my own opinion, if we were to involve all stakeholders, for instance, the religious leaders, the cultural and the political, at the end of the day, all this ensure that they do their talking, also do their training, and then mindset change will be able to be realized. And once the public realizes mindset change, definitely we are going to be realizing the government's dream of, that is wanting to elevate everybody out of poverty. So I think that is something that we cannot also really exclude talking about. And really, if we are to continue to realize this, and then definitely we are going to be realizing that is the poverty eradication drive that we are talking about. So I think this is something that we cannot exclude talking about. And the demise during the installation ceremony held, that is over the weekend at Adusi Primary School playground, Aka sub-county in Zombo District, the Bishop of Nebi Anglican Diocese, that is right, Reverend Pons Onzele Awinju, clarified that is some doubts of the people that it is a sin for religious leaders to officiate and install traditional leaders. And really that is something that which I also want to really not believe in, because I believe at the end of the day we have to work together, both the religious and the cultural leaders, because at one time I believe really we were governed under one body where we had the traditional or religious leaders as the leaders, and then religion came in, and we cannot also hide away from that. And then political leaders came in after. So I think there is need for us to really work together in terms of ensuring that we give service, because at the end of the day, all our part is to ensure that the society that we lead is okay, because really if that is not done that way, then definitely we may be able to see what we're talking about, not realizing its own intended fruit. So I think that is something that we also really need to talk about. And the bishop equally noted that some traditional leaders use their powers to exploit their subjects. And that is something that we also really need to condemn, because at one time you also hear the other leaders also pinpointing, we need to stop these issues of saying that their group is doing this, because we have also had scenarios of religious leaders also being cited. That is an exploitation of, that is the masses, really. If you are to remember the video that really we did see a documentary that was all the way from Nigeria, where we did see one of the pastors actually exploiting the subjects, and nasty scenes emerged after his death. After some period of time, this is where we got to realize that the pastor was actually exploiting his subjects. So I think that is something that we need to desist from, if at all we are really to ensure that we develop the world, because at the end of the day we have to ensure that there's development. Because really if we continue to talk about this, and really once we continue seeing maybe the other leaders getting richer, we see the traditional leaders also becoming richer when the subjects are remaining poor. And then definitely we are not doing enough as the people who are in these positions. So I think for us to achieve also our intended purpose of wanting to see that we develop, then definitely we have to ensure that we do not exclude certain of these activities out. And then that is something that we also really need to talk about. The bishop in his homily tasked the chief to be a good servant of God, as also his subjects will do the same. The bishop noted that some traditional leaders use their powers to really exploit, which he also cautioned that is the traditional leader who is just being installed against. And Mark Otuga, the secretary chief, read the background of Lendu clan as it was started. That is way back in 1923 by the former leaders. He added that Ndupa clan chiefdom has clans of Adusi, Amathu, among others. Really, this is something also we cannot exclude talking about. And really, during this function, the Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Grace Kuching Freedom, who was also the chief guest at the function, gave highlights on the 3 tribes in Uganda being studied by the Ministry of Gender. She said tribes like Ak and others which government plans to recognize among other tribes in the constitution of Uganda. Really, this is something also really we continue to really advocate for. More of our traditional institutions need recognition, and this is something that I must say I want to commend her for, because we have to continue hearing our voices, and that is also the benefit of us having such important people in such positions, because at the end of the day they have to continue advocating for our voices. And that is something also really I want to say we need to also support her in, because at the end of the day this is going to really also see maybe our traditional institutions yielding the recognition which we want to see, because at the end of the day once they get recognized, we also start seeing support coming from government to these religious institutions, and of which if government also can also use them, maybe the leaders to also really pass out some information, maybe some campaigns, definitely we are going to be seeing that as success, because as I said earlier on, these traditional leaders also often have that is their own following. That is something also really we cannot exclude talking about, as we want to see this happening. And this is not only something that is going to happen that is within the clan alone. Several of these clans that are still demanding recognition also may at the end of the day see their dreams becoming reality. That is as far as the recognition for that is from the government is concerned. And that is something also we want to see happening, also if we are to see that becoming the reality. And that is one thing I must say we are yet following up on. And that is as far as that issue is concerned, as we continue to follow up on that till the last drop, until when maybe they get recognition. That is also something that we shall be able to slowly come and let you know of. And students urged to set up their own targets to improve on performance, and this is in education sector that is still within Western Nile sub-region, and I must say that is something also we need to ensure that we talk to our children about, because sometimes our children may be not passing because they are dull. I do not believe that there is somebody who is dull, but sometimes also they just lack the right attitude, they just lack the right support, they lack what it takes for them to really also ensure that they pass. Because really, if you look at the education sector of this subdivision, we are heading to the sports section, the sports period, where you are going to be seeing some of the children totally abandoning going to school. They are not going to school, something which is totally different from what is happening elsewhere in the other parts of the world also, or maybe the parts of the country where we are seeing, yes, we are saying sports is a part of the co-curricular activities because it is part of the curriculum, but we also do understand that work without play makes Jack a dull boy. But still, we do not have to make sports that #1 priority within this period, more so for those who are not actively engaged. We need to ensure that we have time to sit in classes, but then we are heading into this period where we are going to be witnessing sports really becoming very much, I can really vividly tell that some of the schools are now preparing where they are sourcing their players. They are also preparing maybe through sports activities. We are seeing the interclass competitions going on. This is where they will, at the end of the day, identify maybe the right players to play for them in the forthcoming games. But this is where you're also going to be seeing some of the children really abandoning classroom. They're not going to go to class. This is something I can assure you that it's going to be happening for a month or two, where you're not going to be seeing these children really stepping in class. And how do you expect such a person to now pass? That is something that really also beats my understanding, because at the end of the day, you're not been going to class, you're not been going to school. How do you expect to pass now? This is the question really also I want to pose to the people now, or maybe the students who are really out there, who could be watching us for right now. I must also extend this voice to you now. You have to extend and set your goals, irrespective of the level in which you're in. When we talk about students, somebody may be saying, I mean that is those in primary section. No, I do not also mean those in secondary. Up to university level, how best can you ensure that you set your own goals and set your own targets that you want to achieve? And that is something that really I want to really also talk about, as students have been urged to set their own goals and have clear visions so as to improve, that is, academic performance in the district. That is, this urge was made by Honorable Anyama Williams, the chairman LC5, that is for Moyo District, during a Thanksgiving ceremony at St. Andrew's College in Moyo. And really, we have seen our children not performing very well in the recently released primary living examinations. And this is where I want to call upon those who are still within the section also now to start laying strategies, and for the parents also start engaging their young ones and tell them that really, yes, it is true that you are in school. What do you want to achieve? What do you intend to achieve? How many do you want to get? How many aggregates are you planning to get in primary living examination, which was really one that where we did see our children not performing very well. But I believe it is not that our children are very dull or our children are not serious, but they could be lacking issues of mindset. I think that is where issues of mindset change is very, very much important, where we have to engage our learners, we have to engage our children and tell them the right things, because if we do not tell them the right things, and then definitely they will be able to continue to lag behind when it comes to these issues of development, or maybe the ideas in terms of also wanting to attain that is knowledge when it comes to education. So I think I want to call upon each and every parent to have time with their children, engage them, have them also on board. Maybe if you can start motivating them right now, have the promises made to them right now, and ask them what they want to become, such that they realize that they are not in school just to pass time, because somebody may be able to go to school not because he is supposed to be there, but the person does not understand why exactly he or she is in school. So I think this is why it is very, very important for parents to also really start engaging their loved ones. These are the children, and tell them, you are in school, right? I'm paying your fees so that you can become the future leader that you want to become. You can still become the pilots, you can still become the teachers, you can still become the MPs. And this is where the learners would also at the end of the day set their own goals, or in terms of also wanting to become the leaders that they want to become. So I think that is one thing that also really I want to also now implore the leaders, or implore the teachers, implore the parents, because a child to pass, it really needs collective efforts, because all of us are stakeholders. We have to work together as the parents, as the teachers, as the learners, as the society. We all have a role for a child to pass, and that is one thing that I want to really also call upon now the rest of the stakeholders who could be listening to us or viewing us right now, to also have time with their children. Tell these children that yes, you need to have targets. You will not pass unless if you do not really also have these plans. If you don't have any plans, you are not going to really pass, because at the end of the day, you will not realize why you're in school. And that is something also maybe I do want to also really believe in. Sometimes our children here are failing, because sometimes you see the children really going to school and they're getting engaged in strikes, and that is really, somebody leaves the parents there, do not understand why he's in school. They get to realize that they did a big mistake when they expelled, and that is when their parents become beat on them. And that is something, if we really also started engaging these children in, that would really become very, very good. Because if that is not done so, then for us to change, that is the academic performance of the learners in this region may still be a dream that we may not be able to realize, or if we not really also up our game. So I think that is something that we are still following up on. And Honorable Alero, as a time the Member of Parliament for Moyo West, called upon, that is all the education stakeholders to work together so as to improve on the academic performance of this sub-region. That is something I said as earlier on also. And that is as far as that issue of education is concerned. And that is one thing I must also say, we need to ensure that we work together towards improving, because our academic performances, really, if you realize what happened during the primary leaving examinations, none of us was happy really, because our schools were not, or even on the top schools in this country. That was something that didn't make us proud, but really within the UCE we did see some bit of improvement, where our schools also really tried their best, where we did see the traditional schools that were not performing also really upping their games and getting some first grades here and there. And as we continue to wait for the release of the USCE, we do not know how the schools are going to perform, but really we are still waiting for the release of these results, which will be able to be released very soon. But for now, really, we want to summarize with a discussion there as we head into another short commercial break. Please continue watching Western Television.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on Star Times. Star Times brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your Star Times subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. Star Times, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. This is still a Kokoliriko live show, and this is we're about just 4 minutes after 8 a.m., and that means that we are still continuing with the show that is up the hour of 9 a.m. And at 9 a.m. we shall be having the news bulletin in Lubarati, that is with Mukulia Lawrence together with Fete Manuel, and that is how they will be able to really come and give you what is happening in the world of news, that is in the Lubarati news, that is Lubarati dialect. And that is why you need not to miss out in case you are Lubara, because really being Lubara is something that you can never buy. It is something that you are born with, and really, so you have to be proud. And then remember at midday we shall be having the Lembangia news bulletin also with the Chaki piece. That is for the Aluru speaking people, and just like the same also you need not to miss the Aluru news bulletin for those who speak the language. And this cuts across people of Luo entirely, because I do understand that Acholis and their language can also really understand the Aluru language. So it is very, very important for them also to be part of that news bulletin. And now in response to a letter that recently got circulated, where there was a proposal to relocate, that is Luzira government prisons, to another area by a private investor who wants to develop that area into a five-star hotel. And really this has also been able to be one of the topics that is among the members of the public, because some people are asking themselves, how can a prison be broken down to pave way, that is for also a five-star hotel, instead of really maybe upgrading the facility and developing it? Because Luzira has been known as that is the main government prison in this country, because everybody really knows Luzira, and that is also something that really has been there as a talk of the public. So now Uganda Prisons Services has broken its silence about the ongoing plans to relocate to Luzira government maximum prison and replace it with a five-star hotel. And commenting about the matter on Monday, prison spokesperson Frank Baine said the matter is currently at ministerial level, where discussions are still ongoing. And really that is something that also really is we are yet following up on. Are we going to see Luzira being broken up down to pave way for a five-star hotel? And who is behind this really? Because really we did see in that letter the private investor is ready to really do the costs of moving the prison from where it is to another location, so that he can put up his five-star hotel that is in that area of the prison. So I think that is something that we are yet following up on in a July letter dated, that is 2022, that is to the Minister of Internal Affairs. President Museveni gave a green light to the idea of giving land currently housing Luzira prison to a Chinese investor of Tiantang Group to construct a five-star hotel and relocate the maximum security prison to another area. And he therefore directed Tafire to kickstart negotiations with the Tiantang Group to execute the plan. And really that is something also we are yet following up on, because really what do you think about the relocation of the government prison to another facility? And really that is something also really we are yet following up on. And in a follow-up letter, that is February 22nd of 2024, Otafire sought a consultative meeting on March 6th on the matter. So I think that is something also really we are yet following up on. And speak on Monday, Uganda Prisons spokesperson Frank Baine said where they are not allowed to comment on the matter now, since it is still at ministerial level. The matter of relocation of the prison that was constructed in 1927 has been on that is relocated since 2013. Are we going to be seeing it happening now? Because way back 2013, people have been having the demands of relocating this government prison from this area to another area. Are we going to maybe see this yielding its the dream of relocating it now? And who are behind this? That is something that really I do not really also know about. But really also that is something we can really talk about, because that prison is known. What is going to happen maybe to the inmates? Are they going to really be transported from that area, maybe with the relocation? And how long is it going to take? And how much money is this person going to be giving the government when it reaches that time of construction of the five-star hotel? And what reason do they have? That is for the relocation of that is the government prison from that area to yet another identified area, which would not know where it's going to be. That is something that we are really also talking about. And then some people have been saying maybe if government of that is the city leadership can also really, maybe our members of parliament can lobby and say, let them relocate that government prison to West Nile. This will be good. Some members of the public have actually been saying they have been having that proposal instead of leaving that prison there, and if government wants to relocate it, we still have plenty of land that is in Western sub-region where we can relocate this prison to, because first of all, it's going to come with its own opportunities, maybe which we do not know, and that is how they think. I don't know you as the viewer what you think about this matter here. And really moving on, a 2-year-old child in Forua village in the Juman district has been reported dead. That is after fire got their grass-thatched house, leaving this house to really burn. And this is where the 2-year-old child, which was in the house, died. So I think this fire that was set is said to be established by unknown people really continue to cause havoc in that area, and really that up to the extent of claiming the life of this 2-year-old child. And witnesses said that the child's father had left him alone in the house, and really instead of had gone to buy juice for this child in the nearby trading center, and upon returning home, he found out that the house was in flames. And really this is something that we also really need to call upon, and our people, once we need to also ensure that we are going out, really we have to maybe move with our loved ones, but what kind of heart really do you have to really set this house that you know is belong to somebody ablaze? What reasons do you have? And that is where we are seeing these gruesome murders going on. And really what is coming over society is something I do not know what is happening. But really we have a lot more. And maybe if such were brought to book, that would also really be quite good there. And if government is to come up with such strategies of maybe having punishments for such people, that would be also really very good, because this continues to happen. We are seeing houses being burnt, not only in the Lulu sub-region. This is where we have often been hearing cases of houses being burnt. And we also did see in a rural city here within the areas of Onduparaka where houses were burnt, where lives were also claimed. And now we are seeing it also happening in the Juman district. That is something I must say is very bad, and we need to condemn it. And the child's mother had reportedly left the home following a disagreement with the husband. And this is where I must say issues of domestic violence is very bad. And really, because if there is a fight between the father and mother, usually we say it is the child that is going to suffer. And in this case, we are seeing it is the child who has died. And had it maybe been that the child's mother was around, definitely we could have also seen that is maybe the child being saved by the mother, and the child would have actually escaped out with maybe the child. And that is something we really need to condemn and really pray maybe if these perpetrators can be brought to book and maybe identified one time, because really your 40 day will come. You may continue doing these bad things, but your day will come. Just like what happened really to the Buganda Kingdom Sasa chief, who was actually murdered, and two of the assailants are actually said to be of his own clan, and this is the Ndiga clan where they actually belong to, and they are able to kill the chief for reasons I do not know. And really police investigation yesterday also did come out clearly to say that two of these men who were involved in this case were actually belonging to the Ndiga clan, and really this is something really is quite bad. How would you want to murder your leader, and what reasons do you have for killing your leaders, and really what kind of heart do you have? And then what has come over you? Because really I believe police has also arrested one suspect who is currently after investigation. After two of them were actually lynched by the mob, and this is where these two were actually riding on the border, and this really God was not in their favor, because really as they were riding and as they were escaping out of that scene after doing their incident of shooting, the community members and the borders of the area were able to pursue these thieves and really chase and run after them until when they wanted to remove the gun. And unfortunately enough, and I don't know if it is fortunate or unfortunate, because it could be fortunate to the public because they would have also lost their lives, but it is unfortunate to them because the gun was able to enter the spokes of the motorcycle, and that is how it was the end of them. And really, as they fell down, they were able to be lynched to death, and that is something I must say also did happen as of that is weekend. So I think that is something that we also really need to talk about, and really we cannot also really exclude talking about. And moving on, Budget suspends Bushenyi district card over mismanagement of Muslims' property. And this is something also we are seeing on our various papers also, and this is something I must also really also not exclude. Really, we also really have to talk about. And the Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubaje, on Monday suspended, that is Bushenyi district card Sheikh, that is Shaban Kasim Bangirana, and this is actually his name, Sheikh, accusing him of mismanaging Muslim property. And according to a letter dated February 26 of 2024 and signed by Mubaje, the top Muslim office in Kampala received credible information that the cleric had been involved in mismanagement of district resources, that is the Bushenyi Muslim district. And that is something also we are seeing on papers here, and we have to talk about, because really we have to control these people who hold the offices. How do you hold these offices? That is the question that we are giving to you. Do you just come into these positions just because you want to eat? Because really we are seeing this happening now, because this is why also we have been seeing accusations here and there, right from the top level up to the grassroots, and this is continuing to happen. What is the gap? What is the challenge? This is something also now we have to talk about, because if we not continue talking about this, then definitely we are going to be seeing these issues going on and on, because issues of mismanagement of religious properties is really something that I believe is very bad, because you preach what at times also this religion, what you're preaching is not what is happening on ground. What does it mean to the faithfuls, or maybe the sheep that is following you? At the end of the day, I must say they are going to also really move away and start behaving in the same way that you have been doing, because once they hold such positions, be it political positions or maybe also religious positions, they will really be engaged in what you have been doing, which may not be right. So I think it is very, very important for those who hold these positions now to start desisting from certain tendencies. For instance, corruption or mismanagement, that would also really not be good, because what kind of example are you showing as a religious leader? And that means that you are not preaching, or you're not acting by what you are preaching. So I think what really we need to ensure that as religious leaders, as political leaders, as anybody who holds office, we need to ensure that we hold these offices very, very well. Because really, imagine really you are being suspended for mismanagement. How is society going to look at you? Definitely you are going to be taken as somebody who is corrupt. Nobody is going to want to associate with you. Nobody is going to trust you. And that is why we also need to desist from such tendencies. So I think the leadership of the Islamic faith really also needs to ensure that these people who are given the offices do not really have corrupt tendencies. They are really the genuine people, maybe people who are honest, such that at the end of the day, Muslim properties are not lost. Because really we do understand that Muslims have been pinpointing each other here and there of selling Muslim property. Recently, one that was attacked, there was the Gaddafi National Mosque, which was really also something that I must say was very, very much contagious. But really it has actually a bit settled now, because some people demanded for the exit of the Mufti himself, really, which was not really quite good, because really at the end of the day we are seeing our people who are the believers being affected by this, because they lose trust in the leaders, and once they lose trust in the leaders, at times they also lose, they lose trust in the faith, because you as the religious leaders, you are the microphone holders. That is for the faith, because people really believe in the faith because of what you are doing. So I think that is something also we really need to talk about. We cannot also really continue we cannot also continue seeing it happening that when we keep quiet, because really at the end of the day, that is something that may not be good. And the Mufti went on to tell Sheikh Bangirana that the suspension was a necessary step to conduct a thorough, transparent and partial investigation. And really, we expect the investigations to also really go out timely, such that really maybe if he's unfairly suspended, he can't be able to be restored. So I think that is something also really we are yet following up on, and promising to keep the suspended clergy informed of any developments regarding the investigation. Sheikh Mubaji added that his office will strive to involve him during all processes to resolve this matter as swiftly as possible. So I think that is something also really we cannot continue neglecting, and we have to continue talking about, because Sheikh that Adam Semugabe, a delegate in the General Assembly of the Uganda Muslim Spring Council representing Greater Bishenyi, confirmed the development, saying it was followed by a call from Secretary of Religious Leaders from the area. So I think that is something also really we have to continue talking about, because really if this is continuing to happen, and then definitely the repercussions and the results may be that very, very devastating. So I think this is something also really we have to caution the religious leaders about, and really they have to work for the people, because if that is not done that way, then definitely we are going to be seeing the property of the Muslims being lost, or not also not only the Muslims, it may also be happening in the Christianity faith. So I think that is why the leaders who hold these positions also have to ensure that they are doing it for the purpose of God. They're not in these offices to make money or maybe also make wealth. So I think that is where I want to summarize that discussion with. And now moving on, yesterday we did see the members of parliament, more so led by the leader of opposition in parliament, that is Honorable Joel Senyonyi, moving to, that is Lubowa Hospital construction area. But I must say they were barred from accessing this general hospital that is being under construction. And really for reasons I do not know, we actually saw police actually also surrounding the area, which is where I must say did not really go on, and where the leaders, accompanied by the leader of opposition in parliament, really we didn't see them entering, because they were barred from that area from accessing. And really we know government has actually spent a lot of money on this area, that is in terms of the development of this hospital, but we have never seen the results, and that is something also we have been following up on, because that hospital where we have seen government plunging in a lot of money has not been able to be fully developed. But really what is lagging is something that I do not know, and that is where they were going to really also ensure that they do the assessments, because as leaders, they have the mandate also to really traverse and ensure that they also assess government projects such that the government projects also do not lag behind. So I think that is something also really we cannot exclude talking about, and really we have to continue talking about, and really if that is done that way, and then at the end of the day, government projects may not able to lag behind. So I think that is why it is very, very important for people to really also ensure that government projects are supported, and they are also being also checked once they are checked. And that is also really something that we are going to be seeing maybe success in terms of government projects. And now moving on, still that is related to Senyonyi, we did see him also talking about something small about the government plan to relocate, that is also convert Luzira government prison to a 5-star hotel. We did see him also really talking about this issue, and now the leader of opposition parliament has voiced his dissatisfaction over the government's proposal to lease the land of Luzira maximum prison to a Chinese investor for construction of a 5-star hotel. And the contentious issue surfaced after letters of different government heads surfaced on social media revealing President Museveni's directive to the Ministry of Internal Affairs to facilitate negotiations with the Tiantang group. And that is one thing that he has also really talked about. And really, this issue we are going to also be following it up keenly till the last drop. And this is something I must also really talk about. And commenting about the matter, prison spokesperson really also said this issue is at ministerial level, and now Senyonyi is saying this issue is critical and one that needs also proper intervention, and that is something that if we really also want to see maybe us yielding success, or maybe if this project is supposed to be fully utilized, and then definitely that will be quite important. And that is something also we cannot exclude talking about. And Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Tayebwa also commends government multi-billion electricity scale-up project. And remember, government recently did roll out these scale-up projects in various regions, and also we did have one with the Western sub-region being implemented by Kokoliriko, where people have to pay some small amount of monies, that is to the company, so that they can also get connected to the electricity. And this is where, for those who have access, that is within a distance that is being measured, where they can have access for them to get connected at a cheaper cost, and that is something that is under a government project, which is really to also ensure that people get connectivity to the electricity. And Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Tayebwa has rallied support for a new government project aimed at connecting over 1.3 million rural households to the national power grid, and known as Electricity Access Scale-Up Project. The multi-billion-dollar initiative is expected to transform lives in rural communities by increasing access to energy for households, commercial enterprises, and public that is used. So I think that is one thing I'm also sorry have to talk about, because public institutions at the end of the day need power, because without power really we are going to be seeing no development. And the homes also likewise need this power here, because if you look at our homes, we are not going to be using paraffin. We are not going to be using the solars. We need the electricity, the national grid that we're talking about, because of its own enormous advantages. And speaking at the project's launch in Mitoma district on Friday, Tayebwa, who also serves as the area member of parliament, hailed this project that is really, in terms, as he addresses it as pivotal, that is in terms of improving on the people's household income. So I think it is also something that we also have to talk about, and he emphasized the positive impact it will have on improving the livelihoods of the local population. Because really, if that is rolled out with the right intention, and really if people get connected to this, this amount, maybe this electricity, we shall be able to really see them actually improving on their livelihood. And Buweju County Member of Parliament Francis Mudwiche described the project as a massive boost that is the development, and highlighted the positive impact it will have on the value of the land. He expressed readiness on behalf of the Buweju County to welcome this electricity access scale-up project. And the electricity scale-up project is set to be implemented over 5 years as a vital step towards achieving Uganda's goal of universal access to energy by 2030. And by 2030, at least each and every household is supposed to be connected to power, and that is one thing also this area is on to. And really also within our households, within West Nile sub-region, we are also expecting you to take advantage of what Kokoliriko is doing. So it is quite simple. You can maybe also rush to get the information from the Kokoliriko offices in terms of what it takes for you to really get connected to this power here, which is supposed to be at a bit lesser cost, where you just pay some amount and then the company has to come and do an inspection. And really that is something also really we have to talk about, and we cannot leave talking about, because really if that is not done that way, and then definitely we are leaving issues out. And this is one thing I also really want to commend the government for, and we expect now government to do more, maybe also in terms of speeding up with the process of that is finalizing works on that is at the Karuma Dam and other dams that are currently under construction, such that we get connected to the national grid and we have electricity at a cheaper cost, because I still feel electricity is still very, very much expensive. And that is something also really we cannot exclude talking about if we are to see development. And really that is one thing that we have to really also continue that we echo our voices on, because if that is not done that way, and then at the end of the day it is the poor ordinary person to suffer in terms of no access to power and also electricity. And now moving on, Museveni, Ruto meet over Raila Odinga's African Union job. That is also something that we are seeing here. And the surprise visit by Kenya President William Ruto and the opposition Azimio leader Raila Odinga to President Museveni on Monday has left Ugandans and Kenyans, that is guessing whether the duo are working on a possible handshake, that is to a deal between one another. That is between the Orange Democratic Movement leader and former President Uhuru Kenyatta on March 2018. So I think we are still following up, and handshake in this case refers to the pact between Mr. Odinga and Kenyatta, which ended weeks of violent protests following the disputed 2017 presidential elections. And the meeting also follows a recent dispute that is between Kenya and Uganda over petroleum imports, and Mr. Ruto on Monday announced on on his X handle about their meeting with Odinga, that is with their neighboring counterpart, that is Uganda. Also, that is something also really we are seeing here on the various platforms. Really, it is quite good for us to work together, and this is something I must also say that we have to continue working together, because as leaders, definitely, if we do not work together, then definitely we may lag behind, because what affects Uganda indirectly is what is affecting Kenya, and what affects Kenya is directly having an impact on that is Tanzania. So I think that is why we need to work together, really, if we are to see development of East African community, and really we expect East Africa to, I want to really see East Africa that is fully one, because with one head of states, that would be my dream, because really if we have one head of state, then definitely we are going to be seeing a movement becoming very easy. It will become easy for me to move to Kenya. All I will need is just have an identity card. Really, I will not be required to have a visa or passport here and there, but I will just be able to have an ID, because we are the same. Really, that would be quite good. So I think it is quite good, and that is also something that we also have to talk about. And really also moving on, Burundi, in Burundi, rebels killed 9, and that is in a coward attack. That is according to what is Burundi people are saying. And Burundi on Monday accused the country's main rebel group of attacking a bereaved family and killing 9 people, including a soldier. And while the Red Tabara insurgents said they had killed 6 troops, and the attack late on Sunday in the western region of Buringa, just north of the economic capital Bujumbura, borders the district that is the Republic of Congo, where the Red Tabara group has rare bases. So I think this is something also we are seeing on the papers here, and it said that 9 people, including 6 women and a soldier, were killed in the cowardly attack, and 5 people were wounded. And the presidency said the rebels also ransacked an office of the ruling CNDD-FDD party and accused Rwanda of backing the rebels. The group is the most active of all rebel outfits that is in Burundi, and it's estimated to have about 500 to 800 fighters. And Red Tabara claimed the attack on X, formerly Twitter, said as the forces killed 6 soldiers, destroyed the CNDD-FDD office, and seized arms and ammunition. That is something also we are seeing here happening, and really I do not know what is happening within our countries. Can't we really work together as people of East African community? Because you are seeing today Rwanda accusing, that is Burundi, of that happening, and very soon you hear DRC of also accusing Rwanda, and we continue to accuse each other of destabilizing one another. Can't we really put the differences aside and ensure that we work towards the development of the East African community? That is something I want to call upon people of East African region to also ensure that they work towards, because really I believe if we are to work towards that, then definitely these wars that are to me useless will not be going on, because really you are seeing these rebels. Who gives these rebels powers? That is something also really we do not know, because this continues to happen. That is something also really we have to ensure that we desist from, because at the end of the day that is going to have an impact on those who are supposed to really also ensure that they innocent who lose their lives, because it is the innocent people that lose their lives in terms of these fights here. Because really look at this bereaved family that we are mourning their loved one, and really somebody comes and attacks them and really creates more harm and more lives are lost. That is definitely very, very wrong. So that really I want to call upon people now to really also ensure that they desist from this issue here, because if that is not done so, definitely we are going to also be seeing tendencies of the people, so the rebels continue to attack themselves, and also that is something I must say is very, very wrong. So I think moving on, KI student found dead in bathroom. What happens is something I do not know, and police in Bushenyi district are investigating circumstances under which an engineering student at Kampala International University Western Campus allegedly died by suicide, and police identified the deceased as Boniface Opirin, a student at the university's School of Engineering in his first semester of first year, really also who went on to kill himself the Saturday evening as incident happened at CLD Shaka Division, that is in Bushenyi district, and Ishaka Municipality, according to the Greater Bushenyi Police spokesperson, that is Mr. Marshall Tumusime, said on Monday morning following that is the incident. He said on Sunday at around 12:30 p.m., a fellow student staying at the same hostel at the deceased, where the deceased killed himself, poured dirty water in the bathroom and saw Opirin hanging dead. What really happened to this student? Really, that is one thing I must say. Sometimes people are going through a lot, and as parents really at the higher institutions of learning where life is very, very much difficult, sometimes we have to engage our learners. We have to engage our children and tell them, yes, I'm taking you to school, but really I'm not that rich parent, because really once these children head into this financial, maybe these higher institutions of learning, they go through a lot. Sometimes they encounter a lot of experiences. You find that all of them come from different backgrounds. You find a child who is coming from a poor or humble background is meeting that one who is from a well-to-do family, who is rich. And really this is something I must say is maybe causing, that is maybe the pressure among the peer pressure among the learners here and there. And once they also start encountering a lot of challenges, they resort to suicide, because this is not the first incident where we're seeing a student of a higher learning institution committing suicide. We have seen it quite happening, and this is where we have also seen it happening. And really with that, we are heading to a short commercial break, and when we return back, we still have lots more to discuss with you. This is the Kokoliriko Morning Update Store.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on StarTimes. StarTimes brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. We are still continuing with the show. This is the Kokoliriko live on West Nile TV, channel 0073 on Zuku. And I must say, it's a great pleasure having you on board from wherever you are watching us from. And really, we are still continuing with the show. And now, in other stories, we are seeing here Oyam LC5 chairman Dila sacked as Lango cultural speaker. That is also another story we are seeing here, as dozens of Lango clan leaders on Monday ousted their council of Owitong speaker, that is Mr. Benson Dila Oyuku, just 5 days before the much anticipated election of a new paramount chief. And Mr. Dila, who is accused of incompetence, was ousted during a dramatic session held at Lango Cultural Center. And the motion to declare Dila's seat vacant was first moved by the Omalokel, that's Odiek Ongwel clan head, Mr. George Ojwang Opota. It was seconded by two clan heads, that is Dr. Bosco Oruro and Dr. Dan Bosco Ogwang Edola. So I think this is something that we are also seeing here. And I don't know what they mean by incompetence. Has he not been performing to his duties? I do not know. And just within minutes, Willie Omodo of Pedi Webie Achel was nominated and seconded to occupy Dila's seat. And Dr. Oruro was nominated and seconded to deputize him. And Dr. Omodo is a former speaker and defunct parallel Lango cultural institution called, that is Takwero Lango, which was headed by Dr. Engineer Moses Michael Odongo Kune as the paramount chief. And during Monday's council session, it was resolved that the constitution of Lango Cultural Foundation formulated in 2016 will not be used in the election of the new Won Nyachi, that is the paramount chief, that is cultural scheduled for Friday, March, or that 1st of March. And Caroline Dongo and former Lira LC5 chairman Alex Oremo we are appointed as Lango Cultural Institutions Electoral Commission commissioners. So I think Mr. Tom Otim, the former head teacher of Laibi College in Gulu City, heads the commission now. And while Dr. Odongo Okune, a former executive director of Uganda Road Fund, has shown shown interest in becoming Wonyachi, all clan heads are eligible to be elected in the same position. So I think this is something also we are seeing. I don't know what is surrounding all these elections of the paramount chiefs. If you really look at what is happening elsewhere, even when you come to also the Ulubarakari here, you realize that there are controversies when it comes to the re-election or maybe the election of the paramount chief, because really sometimes you hear there are some who want to amend the constitution, you hear that there are some people who really moved away from the elections. Really, you realize that maybe if the cultural leaders are failing to really resolve these issues, and then there's need for government to come in terms of overseeing these elections. That would also really be good, because sometimes they have constitutions in place, but people do not abide by the constitutions. What does this mean? It means that really there's a lot that needs to be done, really in terms of ensuring that people address these issues. So I think that is something also really we cannot exclude talking about, really, as we continue to follow up on that discussion. And really, in case of any development in line to that story, we shall also really keep you updated, because we are supposed to touch the entire Northern Uganda, because this is where we are. Because as Northern Uganda, we cannot exclude, we cannot run away from where you belong. That identity or being a Northerner is something that you cannot exclude or run away from, because really being a Northerner is not a crime, because really we have to be proud of where we come from, and that is why we have to discuss issues that affect us, be it in Lango sub-region, be it in Acholi sub-region, be it in West Nile. All this we have to discuss. Even we stretch up to Karamoja, because we do understand Karamoja is still part of Northern Uganda, though not in the northeast. Because really we have to talk about all these issues that affect us, such that at the end of the day we see maybe also a positive impact in terms of what we discuss here. So I think that is why we also really have to talk about this. And that is one thing also really we cannot exclude talking about if we are to ensure that we develop issues. And now Bishop asks Museveni to pardon jailed church members. Is also another story here, because really you realize that some of these religious leaders have a great role to also really ensure that they make demands, also make the reforms here and there. Now the Bishop of Yahweh Pentecostal Missionary, Reverend Joel Mukalo, has asked President Museveni to pardon two of his followers who are on remand over contempt of court. Really, this is something that really, if you do not understand what contempt of court is, this is where if you misbehave within the court premises where there's a court session going on, the judge can make a ruling, and this is under the constitution, it is mandated. This is where the contempt of court, it means that you have undermined the credibility of the contempt of court. This is one thing I also want to warn the members of the public against. If you move to court, you have to ensure that you are very disciplined, because the judge may make your ruling there and there. You start serving it there and then, and there's no need, and this is no question. It's not questionable, because the judge can make a ruling maybe of 2 years or maybe 3 years, depending on what the judge feels like on maybe the crime that you have committed. For instance, you're not allowed to move with the phone. That is in the court session. If the phone rings, that definitely may also really result in a judge to really also sentence you, and then there are no shoutings and then quarrels within the fightings within the court premises, and also really undermining the judge. Really, if the judge is telling something and you're not abiding by it within the court premises, that can also result into contempt of court. So I think that is something also really we need to desist from, and at the end of the day, that is something also really, if we are to continue, maybe also affect or protect ourselves from contempt of court, that definitely is something also we need to abide by. And Mr. Omanuel Owini and Mr. Bernard Ojwang are on remand on charges of alleged, that is robbery and ongoing in armed public after that they allegedly attempted to block court bailiffs from affecting a court order that is in Lango sub-region. And this is something also really, I must also say, you do not have to undermine the credibility of court. And that is where you can be sentenced under contempt of court. So Pentecostal Assemblies of God, Uganda, under their leadership of Bishop Peter A. Nyau, that is in 2015, dragged the defunct PAG leader now, Yahweh Pentecostal Mission to court. That is also something that really we did see maybe a result for this to be arrested. But the ruling has not gone down well with, that is, Yahweh believers who have since protested the determination of the services of Lira Pentecostal Bishop. Protestant Bishop, that's Mukalo, in 2013 is believed to have ignited the breakaway from PAG Uganda. So I think that is something also we are seeing. The bishop said all churches built and registered under PAG Uganda were constructed through a fundraising drive and other means by their followers. So I think that is something also really we are saying happening, and then somebody may not be understanding why this, maybe why these churches are happening, maybe why these conflicts. And I want to say Yahweh Pentecostal Missioners churches spread across Lira, Ambulataro, Otuke, Alebtong, Dokolo, Kole, Kwania, and the Part district, and it has a general population of more than 300,000 members, with the majority of them being women and children. And all this, you can also see that they are still stated within that's Lango sub-region. So I think that is something also really that does not go very well. That is with these people here. And now there's need for really also these people to maybe also continue with their demands. And such that maybe at the end of the day, if government is to abide by them, we also see government also really coming to their rescue and also listen to these people's pleas, such that they are not really excluded out. And really, that is one thing I also want to summarize that discussion in relation to that with. And I want to say maybe if these people are supposed to really also sit with that, they are released, then they have to make the right pleas. And then maybe if government also, maybe the judges, because the decision lies in their hands, maybe to forgive or lessen the sentences, it still lies within the judges also to really ensure that maybe they also lessen the sentence. And that is something also we are talking about. And now police probe disappearance of Egyptian national, that is in Soroti. And that's something also we are seeing here. And the East Choga Police, Regional Police are investigating an incident of the disappearance of an Egyptian national identified as Ahmed Zihom Ibrahim Selim, who is 32 years, and Mr. Zihom was a resident of, that is Camp Swahili, that is Cell A, that is in Camp Swahili Ward in Soroti City West Division. And he was last seen at his residence, that was on February 23rd, of that 2024 in the evening hours with two of his friends identified as Muhammad Nabil Ali, an Egyptian, and his own other friend who was particular as yet to be identified. And Mr. Oscar Gerigori Adgecha, the East Choga Regional Police spokesperson, said the preliminary investigations indicate that on Saturday, one Mark Kisholo, an employee of Ziom, went to his place but found the door locked and the keys placed next to the window. So I think this is something also we really see it did happen. Mr. Gecha asked the public to provide any kind of information that could lead to the findings or maybe investigations about on the whereabouts of Ibrahim Ziom Selim, which is said provided on toll-free numbers which are already in place, because nobody knows where he is ever since he went missing. And now nobody knows where he is. Could he be abducted somewhere? That is something we do not know, because really we have also had over time seen cases of abductions going on here and there but really without any clear information coming out, because really that is something that is very bad. It may be able to solely push out these people who come and invest in this country, because if we start doing these abductions, and then definitely security of this country may be deteriorating. So that means people who want to come and invest or maybe live in this country may also be pushed away because of fears, because they will also fear for their lives. And that is something also really I want to say we need to also really talk about, because if that is not done that way, then definitely we are going to be seeing investors pulling away from Uganda, because if that is not done that way, because it is going to affect them. And if investors keep on pulling away, and then definitely our country will be able to really lag behind, because sometimes they come and they also give employment opportunities to the young ones. For instance, once they come and do their business here, we are seeing these young people who will be able to loiter idle in the society are employed, because they have something that they can earn for themselves, and that is as far as issues of really themselves also earning something small is concerned. And that is one thing I must also really say needs not to happen, because if that is happening, then definitely we still have lots more to do when it comes to issues of that is supporting these people in one way or the other. And now to really summarize that discussion with really, I must say, we are now just running with about a minute, that is to pave way for the Elders and News team. Fete Emmanuel is already in place also to give you what is happening in the world of Elders. And really with that, we come to close of today's discussion. And also really for the sports lovers, as usual, we have only one result of one game that did transpire yesterday. That is between West Ham United and Brentford. And I must say the game ended, that is in 4-2 in favor of West Ham United, actually edging Brentford, that is 4-2. And that is something also really we have to summarize the discussion with. And really with that, we come to a closer of today's discussion. And especially I want to thank whoever really also shared your views, also shared your comments on the various media platform, feedback generating platforms. And from wherever you chose to watch us from, we say thank you so much. We do not take it lightly. We do very much appreciate your comments. And really with that, we come to a close of today's discussion. And I really also want to appreciate my people, the technical team, that is the Zone Pro, the producer, and not forgetting the beautiful lady Aita, who is behind the camera. And really I want to say thank you so much. Let's bounce back again till tomorrow for the same show on the same frequency, same time. I'm out for now.